Okay, so perfect. Welcome everyone. We are going to look at our analysis for tomorrow in preparation for tomorrow. So in terms of the news that came out today, we had positive CPI number, which is the inflation data for the British pound, which was way above expectations. The forecast was for 2.1. Previously, it was at 1.8. So when we have positive inflation data come out, that is really, really good for the currency because all the central banks, they want the inflation rate to be around 2.2%, some thereabouts. And right now, US is struggling getting the inflation up there, and everybody has been struggling getting the inflation rate up there. When the inflation starts to go up, which means the general prices start going up, the central banks tend to start raising rates. And this is why the British pound went up, because with the positive inflation numbers coming out, the market is now starting to think that they may raise rates for the Bank of England, may raise rates for the British pound. And that's why the CPI number being positive was such a big push for the British pound. Other than that, we had retail sales, good data come out for Canadian dollar here as well. And also for the US, it wasn't too bad. We had current account, which is the trade balance numbers, basically imports minus exports, and it was very positive. It was expected to be 129 billion negative, and this was only negative 112 billion. So this is basically a big uptick in the number here as well. But that did not make much of a difference till a bit later in the session. That's why we took the Aussie dollar trade there. Other than that, we had price index come out for New Zealand dollar. It was very negative last time, and this time it came out to be positive 1.7%. Again, this was very positive, again, for New Zealand dollar, and we saw New Zealand dollar as a result, just after it came out, we saw it push up quite a bit. So that was positive. And then Japanese yen, we had positive, again, trade balance data come out, which is, again, exports minus imports, or the other way around. So this is positive for them, and we saw that push to the downside in terms of Japanese yen here as well. So it's Japanese yen has been strengthening. So usually when US dollar goes down, Japanese yen tends to go up because that's where the money starts flowing. All right, so in terms of our currency movers here, Japanese yen, of course, was the biggest one, and then gold moved up nicely. British pound and euro were very strong as well, and everything else, Aussie was one of the weakest that we saw. So just let's take a quick look at any of the stories that came out today. Okay, so we have, so US stocks came down a bit. They posted their worst day year to date so far. Financials slumped. And then now we are seeing ASX 200 and Nikkei are down here as well. And there's a Japanese strength, of course. All right, other than that, we have, another thing, one of the reasons that Euro has been very strong is because the presidential debates started, and Macron came out ahead of Le Pen, who people don't want. She's sort of like President Trump, so people don't want her to be in the office because she's too much right sided, I guess, and that's why they don't want. I guess immigration is another thing that they are concerned about, and she wants to separate from the European Union, and because of that, the markets don't want her to win, and she was in number 3rd, and as a result, we saw the euro go up because Macron was in the first place. Okay, so other than that, that was pretty much it. So here they're saying Macron was in the lead with 60.5% in the polls, and Le Pen was 39.5%. So she's lower. As a result, that is good. So Macron has increased the lead, and that's why we saw the euro very, very bullish today. So that's pretty much it in terms of the stories. Okay, so let's move on to our charts. In terms of the charts, let's start off with okay, let's start off with the New Zealand dollar. So New Zealand dollar, we have a daily pin bar. We were looking for price to move up yesterday, and because we did have this bullish candle, so it did move up. It kind of moved up quite nicely actually, all the way to 70.90. The one of the targets here I was looking at was 7100. Didn't quite get there, but nonetheless moved up quite nicely here. So in this case today though, we have a pin bar on the daily chart. Usually a pin bar is negative, so it will be a bearish close here, which means the price rejected the high and now we have pushed down. So in this case we would be looking for a move to the downside in New Zealand dollar. And the next level, so we have reached here, so this is the support and resistance we came down to. And the next one could be right about here. See this pin, and then we have this pin right here. So this is 70 levels, 700 level. That will be the next target. And beyond that, we have the bottom here. So 69.70 level approximately. That will be the next target to the downside, or even let's say 69.80. So those are the two targets that I would be looking at for New Zealand US dollar. But overall, looking at the chart here, daily chart, this looks bearish, and I'm looking for a move to the downside. So going on to the 1 hour chart, we have, okay, so we are below the pivot point. So this is the next target here, 0700 level right here, and then below that, this level here. Or we could even pull it down a little bit lower. So 69.70 level, that's what we're looking at. So that will be the next target, but we could see a pullback up before it comes down. So in terms of the pullback, 70.60 level, where my cursor is at the moment here, right here, that would be, could be a potential level for a pullback, or even into 70.50 level, which is our daily pivot point here. So those are two potential pullback levels. And in terms of our Fibonacci, so this 38.2 lines up with 70.50 level. So look for a potential pullback into that level, and then a further move to the downside. So that's what I'm expecting. I will leave these two lines here so we know for tomorrow. Okay, so that's in New Zealand dollar. Australian dollar here, very nice. On the daily, we have a very nice reversal here. This is called railroad reversal. So basically two candles that engulf each other. So we have a bullish candle and a bearish candle here. So this level here was very important. I watched this for quite some time, and that's why we went in for that trade in Australian dollar today. This level has been respected for quite some time. So last time we were here was in June of 2016. And since then, the level has held. We did try to break through it once here, but since from that level, we had quite a drop in Aussie, and looks like we are going to see a further pullback. So based on the daily close, we're looking for a down move tomorrow. So let's look at potential targets. I like this pin right here. This is nice support and resistance area. So 76.30 area, which is actually not too far. So if we were to pull that back a little, this is another nice area here as well. So 7600. So say 7600 would be our target for the day. So the first target I would say would be 76.30, and second target 7600 for Aussie. So in terms of the pullback, so we have seen just a straight move to the downside, didn't really pull back. Generally, it tends to pull back into the pivot, but right now we're just seeing a straightaway trade and going back down here. So this is the 7600 level. Another level that we could have trouble with is this right here, 7660 level. right here, which is also our S1 level. So that's something to watch out for. Once the price comes down through this one, then we can go into the 7,600 level, which will be our next target. So this 7660 level would be something to watch out for because of this support and resistance here, right there, because this is where we pushed off of previously. So be careful with that one. Basically for the day, we are looking for, based on the move here, we are looking for the price to move down. In this case here, we're looking for a down move on dollar CAD last night, and we did get one. It did not stay there though. It has gave us a big bullish doji here. So in this case, we would be looking for a bullish move. So this would be considered a bullish candle. And now our first target here would be 133.80 level here approximately. This pin bar is what I'm looking at. See the support and resistance level right here. This looks good. So 133.80. Now beyond that, we could potentially get into this 134.30 level right here, which is the next support and resistance, or potentially into the 50, so 34.50 level. So let's mark it down at 34.30 here. That's where I'm going to leave. The first target would be 133.80, but this could be strong. So we'll have to watch out for this level. Price did have trouble with it previously on the way up as well. So here we'll have to watch out. So in the meantime, we will look for first target 33.80, and we could potentially get a short here. So 33.80 could be a potential short, or we could see the price breakthrough. So the type of move that I'd be looking at here would be either one of these to the downside, or we could get, this is kind of similar to what we were doing for Australian dollar yesterday. We could get one of these moves to the upside. So those are the two potential moves because we are looking at a strong support and resistance here. So either one, if we get the one in the red here, we'll have to wait for price to confirm that it wants to come down. And for the breakout to the upside, we'll have to confirm that it is in fact breaking out to the upside and heading for this 34.30 level. So we'll watch this level. So that's dollar CAD. In terms of the hourly here, we are in this range. So again, this is the top of the range, this is the bottom of the range, and we'll trade it as such. We'll see how this plays out. If this breaks, look at this inefficiency here. We have this whole inefficiency that could get filled, which is exactly the next, this was a point of release here, sorry, breaking point where it broke through the support and resistance. So this is a good level for it to get back to. And beyond that, of course, we have this 3,500. I'm not really expecting it to go all the way up there though. This is more likely. Okay, so bullish on dollar CAD. British pound here was very, very strong. I was in fact thinking that we may see a move to the downside, but it did break up. And now we are bullish on this. This looks very bullish. So I was looking at this move. It was kind of losing momentum. So we had a big green candle, even smaller candle, and a red pin bar. But we did talk about this support that was in place at 23.30. Anyway, since then it has bounced off. So we are the candle looks very bullish at this moment. So we are looking for a move to the upside here, 125.70. This is the level we were looking at yesterday. So we'll keep that. And beyond that, 127.15 or 20 area, this to the upside. I don't think we'll get all the way there, but you never know. 25.70 is the level to keep in mind first. So that will be the level to watch. So let's take a look at the 1 hour chart. So see how we are sitting way up into the highs here. And this is worrying. So if the price comes down here, so if you get the price to come down here, we could get one of these. which will be nice, but it could do this here as well. So that's what we'll have to watch out for. We'll have to see which one we get, but based on the way it's sitting up there and holding up there, we are more likely to get one of these moves to the upside. If we do get the move to the downside, then this will be the support and resistance, basically the pivot point. So we could get a pullback into the pivot point and then a move up. So in terms of a pullback, we could say 124.36 area would be a pullback level. And if it holds above the 124.36 level, then we are looking for another move to the upside. But based on daily close here, we are very, very bullish on this one here. And in terms of our pivots, in terms of our fibs here, let's see. Here we go. Again, so the pivot lines up with 38.2%. So pivot point could be a pullback or into this 50% here as well. So 24, 20-ish area right about here. So we could get move back into this level. So something like this or something like this, and then a move to the upside. So those will be two levels I'd be watching, 24.30 and 24.20, which lines up with this support and resistance right here. Okay, so that's the pound. And let me just draw this support and resistance here so we can keep an eye on it. All right, so daily, we're bullish. Okay, dollar yen. Yen has had nice move to the downside, consolidation, continuation to the downside. So big move here. In terms of the daily here, we were looking for a move to the downside into this area, and that's exactly where it came to. So where to now? This is an important support and resistance level, so we could get a push up higher from here. So we could see a move to the upside. However, the next level here would be 110.67, so about 110.70 level. So that will be the next very bearish candle. So potential move to the downside is what we're looking for. 110.67 would be the next target, or even right about here, 110.20-ish area. So let's put it here for now, previous level. So I'm looking at support and resistance going all the way back here. So 110.61, 110.61 here. This is where my line is. So this is where I'm getting the support and resistance from as the next target. And then beyond that, it will be this one, 110.20 level, sorry. Very bearish. Let's take a look at the daily here, sorry, the 1 hour chart, and we'll draw our fibs. For potential pullback levels, this here pivot, I like the pivot. So this is the previous support and resistance level here as well, where we got a pin bar. So, and it's also 38.2 level. So pivot at 112.02. So 112 is essentially where we are looking for a pullback. So when I say a pullback, what I mean is we don't always see a straight move to the downside. Chances are we see price pullback first. So we could see one of these and then a drop to the next level. So in that case, we're looking for 112 as the potential pullback. If for some reason we get a really bullish move here, then we're looking at 112.36 as the next level, and then a move to the downside again. But overall, we are bearish. Look for a pullback, and then we can look for a move to the downside. So 112 is the first level to potential short, and then 112.36 as the second level for a potential short here. And then CAD yen is what I was watching here. We missed that move, but let's take a look at the daily chart here. This is the support and resistance. This was a very, very strong support and resistance, and that's why I was watching it, because we had, see, 1, 2, 3, fourth time it came, but it went back up. So it got respected many times. So when we have support that gets respected a lot like that, generally when it turns into resistance, it will get respected as well. So this is support becoming a resistance here, and this is where we had the price stay below. So looking at the 15-minute chart, this was very nice pin bar here, and then we had tweezer tops. So 2 pin bars essentially right onto our R2 level. So very, very good. And it was also the 8480 level. So we have multiple things coming together. So we have confluence coming together to make that a high probability trade. Anyway, so missed opportunity, but let's see, make sure we catch these in the future. I just looked away and didn't catch it. Anyway, so pivot point would be, again, another would be the level I would be looking for a move to the upside. So we could again see the same type of setup here, a move to the upside like this, and then a drop. However, the trend does seem quite strong at this time. So we may just see this right here. We could see one of these. So it may only pull back 23.6%. So 83.92. So about 92 level, 8400, let's say approximately 8400 level is where I'd be looking for a potential pullback, but it may not, or it may just come up to here, which is 8380 level. So those two areas would be the ones to watch, and for a potential move to the downside. Based on the daily, this is quite bearish, and now that we have broken down, we go look for a further move to the downside. So let's see, where's our target? So this is where we are currently, this right here, support and resistance. And now moving to the next one, that one looks good. So this is 6270. 6270 level, so about 100 or so pips from our current price level. That or right into here, which is 8,300, so about 50 pips from where it is, but we could see it go back up and then pull back. So even as much as this one here. So that's something to watch out for. We could see a pullback first and then a drop. 8,300 will be the first target. Second target will be 8270 area here, or 8280 approximately. So that's our second target. So looking for a further move to the downside. CAD yen, I was looking at it over the weekend, and one of the things I was looking at was this. This was very nice downward trending move. So lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, a really lower high, and then of course a drop. This is the move that we saw back in British pound as well after the Brexit, when prices had pulled up, and then this is where we saw the price break down through this level. So this is kind of similar. Okay, so those are all the pairs that I have. Anything else you guys would like to cover? Any particular currency pair? Or any other questions before we call it a wrap? New Zealand yen, that was a nice one as well. Dollar Swiss franc. Okay, let's cover those. Dollar Swiss. Here we go. All right. Okay, this was again one of those big drop. Now, here we go. Look at the daily here. Daily, we are very bearish for the day, and next level would potentially be right about there. So this is nice support and resistance right here through here, and so 99 0.9900. So that will be the next target. We're at 99.4840. So not too far from where it is currently. However, we may see a pullback before we see a drop. So good level for a pullback would be around this pivot point level, or even slightly higher into 99.57 or 99.50. So around that level, we could see a pullback. If the price holds below the pivot here, 99.50 level, we are looking for another move to the downside. About 9,900 will be the target to the downside here. Big move on the day here. This was actually another pair. I was looking at this, but I never trade dollar Swiss since before the Swiss bank, the whole fiasco. I don't normally trade this pair, but I was looking at this one right up here, and pound Swiss was another one I was looking at, but I'm just so reluctant to trade the Swiss franc since then. Anyway, so in terms of 38.2 aligns with the pivot point, or the 50% fib here aligns with that 99.60 level, the support and resistance level that we were looking at previously. So those are two good levels. Essentially, let me just mark them down here. This one right here for a potential pullback, or the pivot point. But direction for the day is to the downside, looking at about 9,900. Okay, New Zealand yen. A huge day, again, big pin bar here as well, and then we just took off to the downside. Here we go, did a bit of a back test right into this level, and then since then we have dropped. So for the day here, we are bearish, and let's see. Next target would be potentially 78.12, and then going into this support and resistance, 77.80 area. So that would be the next target, 77.80. 77.75 is what I have here, about 77.80 approximately, somewhere around there. So a bit of a support zone there. That's what I would be looking at. But based on the daily candle here, very, very bearish candle. And let's take a look here. Pivot point is right about there. We could see a pullback into the pivot or into here. So this is the previous resistance level here, or support level that's turned into resistance right here. So we could see a move to the upside, although it has already moved. So not sure if it will pull back so much for another drop, but that's a good pullback level. Aside from that, this one right here, see how we have back-to-back test here? So that's a good test level here as well. But on the day here, we are looking for a drop into the next level. So daily is bearish on this one as well. All right, any other pairs you would like me to look at, or any questions? Okay, so I think we are all set. So those are our levels that we would be watching for tomorrow. This basically just gives us a bit of a sort of a guideline, and just this way it's in our minds, the levels are marked, so when we come to our charts tomorrow, everything is ready for us, and all we have to do is, okay, kind of get our bearings and see where the price is in relation to what we had marked down. And from there, we can look at whatever sets up. So here's our Aussie already into that level, and New Zealand is dropping here as well, which is very good. All right, any last questions before we call it a wrap? The pivot point indicator, Colin, I can drop it in the, let me drop it into the Skype chat room so you can access it from there. Okay, you are welcome, guys. So we'll call it a wrap, and I will see you in the trade room tomorrow morning. But if you're trading any other session, evening, or you're trading the London session, feel free to use these levels. So this will give us an indication as to where the price may be going. All right, so we'll call it a wrap. Have a good night, and I will see you in the morning then.